Hey guys, welcome to another fun and exciting GT7 stream. This is actually a test run for the Toyota Cup in GT1. GT1 is the A plus drivers. I'm a B, but I'm still in the group at the moment because that's where I entered. But this is all about the damage to the car. Now this is a Yaris, which to me is pretty slow, so I was questioning if you get damage, which is permanent, the only way you can get rid of it is pit and spend some time fixing the damage. Is it worth it? So I wanted to see whether or not if I'm going to compare 2 normal laps with no damage, and then after that I'm going to start ramming the car into walls, getting some damage and seeing what the difference is. Yeah, so at the moment, so my setup for the race, let's say, no traction control. I've tried every setup you can have on their own individually, and any form of traction control just seems to slow the car down on the corners, accelerating out. So active stability management and counter steering strong for me gives me that level of stability, but no traction control allows me to accelerate pretty hard. And also the ABS, normally I race with that on weak, but for this, again, to make sure the car doesn't snap, I've put it back to default. So I'm going to be trying during the race to be racing as smooth as I can, but damage, I think 80% of the time, if anyone gets damage, it will be self-inflicted. But there's possibility other people will ram up behind you, they're not braking quick enough, or you're braking too hard, bang, you've got damage. Generally speaking, a little bit of aerodynamic damage and a little bit of suspension damage will cost about 5 seconds. And in GT1 this is a 15 lap race, so is it worth it? The car's pretty slow as it is. So I've already done 1 lap, and honestly I'm sitting outside so I can't really see the time. But I'm going to do 2 laps with no damage, just to get a feel for what the pace is, and then after this lap I'm going to smack a wall and get some damage, and we'll see what it's like. Is it worth pitting for damage? So usually I start the race from the back. Now if I get into race 1, I probably will. I don't think it's a good idea. It's going to be pretty hard. It's a 1-make race. Usually I say 1 make, everyone's in the same car, everyone's doing the same speed. It's a bit of a handle, this car. It's pretty hard to handle. So overtaking is going to be pretty hard, but I think there's going to be a lot of mistakes, mainly in GT2. I'll be starting from the back initially and see how it goes. So I will finish 2 laps, and now I'm going to smack the wall, try and get some damage going. So you can see bottom right where the aero and I've got the front bumper damaged and the front right hand suspension damaged. So the test is, how much will it slow me down? Now usually the high speed powered cars, the group 1, group 2, maybe group 3, the more power you got, the faster you want to go, the faster the cornering, the more load you're putting on suspension, so the more effect it has. I didn't think it would have that much of an effect on a little Yaris. Personally, I think I'm right, and I think you'll find by the end of this video you'll see a little bit of damage isn't really worth worrying about. But a bit later you'll see I wreck the front and the rear, and it's about half a second to 1 second a lap. Obviously not every lap is exactly the same. So you'll see my lap times a little bit up and down, but there might be, with damage, 1 lap is down, but the next lap is up and competitive, which proves it can be done. And the reason why I'm doing this is for me, if I'm starting from the back, I'll probably want to pit lap 1 because there's plenty of fuel and the tyres can go 15 laps, so just pull in the pits, stop and go. So if I achieve that and then 2 laps in I get damage, well, I've got to do the rest of the race with damage, and then should I pit again? I don't know. So this is what this test is all about. You can see the split time just above the rev bar. So my first lap with damage is not my fastest time, but this one is looking alright at the moment. It is in blue. So it's still competitive. Now that's the front. How would the rear perform? I'm going to guess pretty much the same. If you don't pit straight away, you're going to pit near the end, let's say, or in the middle, then, and you do get damage, I'd recommend you don't pit straight away. You monitor it, you do a lap or two and see how it goes, because let's see, now we're going to cross, and that's a new fastest lap. So now I'm adding more damage, a bit too much. So I've pretty much screwed up this this lap time because of all this damage. I'm trying to wreck the rear now. I just want to put it to the full test. So hopefully this video gives you something to think about. I mean, the race is tomorrow morning, so there's not much time between now and the race to get a hold of this. Hopefully in the race, if you do have damage and you've seen the video, then you probably know that, yeah, just pull in, leave, even with the damage. The other, if you have a look in the race details, the other thing is wall contact. There's no penalty. So going down that hill, you can probably go a little bit faster than what you want and just hit the sidewall on the left hand side. And again, if you get damage, to me, once you've got damage, you can't damage your car anymore. So once you've got damage, you can just start really hitting any wall you want, as long as you're not losing time. So obviously that was a very slow lap because I was creating damage. So this is the so the first 2 laps was no damage. The second 2 laps was with front mild damage. Lap 5 was just, you know, written off. So it looks like the stability's gone a touch, but am I losing time? So you could clip that wall. Sort of bounce off it. I'm not too sure if you hit it too hard, you'll get a track limit penalty. I'm not too sure. So as you can see, yeah, the front bumper and front right suspension is damaged, and the rear bumper is damaged. New fastest time. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But it shows you something. That it's not worth. I mean, I think now I'm going to do another lap like this lap, and then the next lap I'm going to pull in the pits and show you how much time it takes to repair that damage. A lot of time wasted there. So I would imagine if you've already pitted nice and early, or even if you've already pitted, it's really not worth pitting again just to fix damage. So, I mean, it's down. What's that? Maybe 0.9. I think that's 22.3. 0.9 of a second. Like I said, not every lap is exactly the same. It doesn't help. I'm trying to do this and I'm getting penalties. Hopefully you understand my point is, if we were in Group 1 cars at SAF, yeah, you'd probably definitely notice. I think I have seen, at the end of the start-finish straight, my highest top-end speed has dropped a bit. But being slow cars, it's a bit like, when you've got a penalty, like that half-second penalty. In really fast cars, you lose a lot of power and momentum. That half second becomes 2.5 seconds, for example. Whereas the Yaris being so slow, the slower the car, the smaller the consequence. So, I think because of the penalty, I just wanted to go again. So also imagine if the car in front has damage and you don't. They're only just a little bit slower than you, so it's quite difficult to get past. I just think, obviously one great passing place is people paying penalties. If you're close, they're paying that half-second penalty, you might be able to squeeze past. But this is the other spot, getting the right exit and being able to catch up in their slipstream and get past only just. So I'm going to show you now how much time. I'm not going to change tyres. Just scroll up here and hit repair with my shitty little mouse. So that's I think 3 seconds with suspension, 2 seconds with the aerodynamics. So 5 seconds all up. Is it worth it? First of all, like I said, if you've already pitted, definitely not worth pitting twice. If you haven't yet pitted, is it still worth hanging around for 5 seconds when you could do this and come out and bang, you got damage straight away? So I'm just now wrecking the car. I want to hit all suspension. So it looks like I've got the front suspension and aerodynamics done. Now because I'm a clean driver, I'm not that good at wrecking cars. Some people can, they're naturals at it. So I've got I've hit the back pretty square on. So I've realised, I've got to hit the back on an angle. Just bear with me with this. So I'm glad I did this one. So it looks like a little bit of damage. Really, is neither here nor there. But this is now full damage, apart from an engine, of course. What's my recommendation if you get engine damage? Hit the option button and exit. That's what I'd recommend. So we're going to see what the lap time is now, although I do have a penalty, but I think I'll pay that next lap. And I think with this you'll see there is maybe close to 1 second a lap difference. I reckon I was hitting 203, maybe a bit more, just around this corner. That looks reasonably slower. But it's still drivable. Again, a little bit of instability. So obviously in the race I'd be hoping that people are battling real hard, slowing each other up while I'm pitting nice and early. The pit time is, I think, around 30 seconds. It is quite a while. So what's that? It's close to a third of a lap. Less than that actually. Oh, sorry, more than a third. Secondly, I'd be hoping that when people pit, they change tyres. And thirdly, if they get damage, like they've got a scuff on their bumper bar, they go into the pits to change it. So just a few more laps now, 1 or 2, just to see what the time difference is. So 0.8, it's not too bad. So let's say you got full damage on lap 1 and it's around 1 second a lap. All up you're going to be losing, you've got 14 laps remaining. It's getting close to 14 seconds. Maybe then you'd be better off to fix the damage, but then try your hardest not to get more damage. I don't know what to say. I'd being such a slow car, I just wouldn't worry about it. So yeah, on this straight you can see my time is dropping. Only just so 0.3. So again, I think that shows something, hey. Do not pit or fix damage. It's not worth it. It's such a slow car. Hopefully that helps, guys, if you have managed to watch this in time. So again, this is for GT1 with heavy damage. You know, GT2 it's light damage, so it repairs itself within 30 seconds, but GT1 15 laps, heavy damage, it will stay on like it is at the moment. So yeah, so the idea of pitting on lap 1 for me is still viable, because the damage is almost negligent. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if you can. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and see you on the next one. Bye for now.